Hello, my name is James P. White. I'm from 95.7 Cruise FM, the Locker Room in Edmonton. Welcome to Pink Shirt Day. I am so excited. As you know, Pink Shirt Day brings awareness to bullying and helps us unify against bullying, bring us all together for one common goal, and that's to create acceptance for everyone. And so I need to really thank a number of uh, uh, a number of sponsors. First of all, Crier Media, Harvard Media. That's the company that I work for through a 95.7 Cruise FM. And I also do need to thank uh, Kids Help Phone. Uh, I'm so excited to have such a great resource uh, of Kids Help Phone, and we're going to be able to talk and learn all about all the stuff that they do. Now, before I get started, now I'm going to introduce a good friend of mine. Her name is Lisa Evans from Play 107. She actually is going to help me keep this flow going and to keep me on track because I kind of mumble. And Lisa, take it away. You have the floor.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me in and welcome everyone. This is so exciting. Again, my name is Lisa Evans. I do the morning show on Play 107, formerly known as Hot 107. Some of you may remember that. I've been doing the morning show now for almost 10 years, which is pretty crazy. And like James said, my role is basically just to keep things running smoothly. And we want to make sure you get as much information as possible in before your lunch break, of course. So I'm not going to take up too much of your time. Just a reminder that we have a wonderful representative of Kids Help Phone. Ali Khan is going to be talking and giving you more details after we hear from our panelists. And get your questions in on the chat room there. We're going to do a quick question and answer after everyone takes the floor. Now, before everybody gives you their story and their experience, we're going to just go through the panelists and get everyone to just do like a quick minute long, like what you would have in your Twitter bio explanation about what you do. So we're going to start with you, Jennifer. Give your full name and just a little bit about yourself.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Lisa. I am Jennifer Valentine, and I grew up in the television world, radio and television broadcasting. I did morning television and morning radio for many, many years, and the Bachelor Canada After Show on the W Network. And now I am a social media content creator, and this is a job now where we can create our own content online and send it out to the world. So I'm my own boss now, and it's a lot of fun. And this is, relatively a new job for a lot of people. And it's taken the world by storm, especially since the pandemic. So it's been a lot of fun creating and having fun creating content, and hopefully people will enjoy it. Mostly right here in my kitchen, doing recipes and trends and lots of fun stuff. So that's what I do now. So hopefully, you're watching, and thank you so much for asking me to be here today. It means a lot.
That's awesome. And yes, I was just mentioning to you before we went live that I was watching your TikTok live the other day. It was fantastic. You're amazing. Next up, we have Karima. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. My name's Karima Saad, and I am a lawyer. I'm based in Toronto, and I do mostly housing and criminal law. And since the pandemic, I started new things, and I got a little bit into political satire, which is basically looking at politics, things that are happening, and trying to find the humor in it. I spent time in Ottawa during the convoy taking videos and photos, and that's sort of a subject that I am really interested in. And because of that, I have people who disagree with me in my sense of humor, and I suspect that's why I'm here today. And I really look forward to our discussion.
Wonderful. Okay, so we do have a representative of Kids Help Phone, but I think we're having a little bit of technical difficulties. So we will save that till the end, and hopefully everything will be smooth running for him once we get there. So, James, are you wanting to do a little intro about yourself, or do you think you've said enough? People have a good idea of what you're all about. Thoughts?
I think it pretty much covered everything. I'll just go, quick in and out. First of all, I currently work at 95.7 Cruise FM. I am a little person. For those who have never met me, I used to work on a little person basketball team where I used to travel talking about bullying and teaching people about this. That's why I'm so passionate for Pink Shirt Day. And I'll get a little bit more into my story in a bit, but I love talking to people and educating the best I can.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's about all we need from me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And Alican, how are you feeling with your Wi-Fi? Are you able to give a little introduction now?
I think I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you are. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
perfect.
Awesome. So yeah, I'm from Kids Help Phone. Kids Help Phone, as you may know, is Canada's only free e-mental health service offering support to young people 24/7 through phone, text, as well as online resources. No matter where a young person lives, whatever they're experiencing, every young person deserves support that recognizes their unique mental health needs. In Kids Help Phone, we take an approach that's one size does not fit all. Every person has unique needs, and so we offer support in many different ways so that a young person can choose what they feel is best for them. And our brand platform, which is Feel Out Loud, reminds youth that Kids Help Phone is here for all the stuff, all the difficult stuff, the good ones, and every moment in between. And so we're not just a crisis helpline. No issue is too big or too small to reach out to us for, and together we can unlock the hope young people need to thrive in their worlds.
That's awesome. We're so happy that you're here. And to everyone watching, just a reminder that there is a link to buy some pink shirts in the description of the live stream if you'd like to donate to help with Kids Help Phone. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. And just a reminder that if you have any questions, feel free to write them in the chat on the side, because we're going to get to a question and answer segment near the end. So without further ado, let's get started. Jennifer, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. And listen, this does mean a lot to me, and it's such an important topic. And thank goodness for Pink Shirt Day. Travis Price and David Shepard, 2007 in Nova Scotia, they were at school and they noticed that a young boy was being bullied because he was wearing a pink shirt. And how many times have we seen something along those lines going through school? And they just didn't stand by. They actually stood up, which is a hard thing to do when you think about it, standing up and saying, hey, wait a minute, this is wrong. And they did something about it in such a positive way. They started Pink Shirt Day and going to be, and they simply said, you know what, we're all going to wear pink shirts in solidarity. So they brought the pink shirts to school, and they told everybody about it. And then out of 1,000 students, over 800 got on board and wore these pink shirts. And look at it now; it is worldwide, and it has made such a huge difference for young kids in school. We still have a ways to go, but this is making a huge difference in implementing preventative programs in schools so this doesn't happen. And kids don't want to speak up. Kids are afraid. And I think we all have a story, whether we were bullied ourselves or whether we have witnessed it. And when you do witness it, you have a decision to make yourself. Are you going to say something? Are you going to stick up for a young victim because you in turn might be bullied yourself? So you're really kids are put in a tough situation. And now with online bullying, I think it starts at home. I really think that as parents, we need to just talk to our kids about bullying, because if your kid is being bullied, or if your kid is the bully, you would probably not know yourself. So asking questions on a regular basis, allows this open conversation with your kids. I did with my kids, but still, one of my kids was bullied and didn't tell me because they don't want you to go to the school. They don't want you to do something. And then in turn, they are bullied even worse. For me, growing up, I was the new kid. I went to a school that was pretty far away. It was a bilingual school, and I was bused in. So I didn't have any friends in the neighborhood. And I kept asking my parents, can I just go to the school down the street and then I could get some friends? Because on weekends, I was alone. So finally, my parents gave in. They could see how much I was this kid with I had older siblings who weren't around, and I was basically by myself. So I ended up going to the school down the street, but I was the new kid. And I got picked on, and I got beat up. I got held down. I got kicked. Pretty bad stuff. And did I tell my parents? No. Did I tell the teacher? Absolutely not. Until this day, I don't even think I've told my sister this story. I'm telling you guys for the very first time that this is what happened. And this is what kids do, because I knew if I told my mom that she was going to go to school, and then the principal was going to get involved, and then where are they when I'm alone walking home from school in public school? So I finally did get some friends. I had this amazing friend, Kim, who invited me to her birthday party, and that's all it took. I think she felt sorry for me, and a friendship developed. And then till this day, I value all my friends. I accept them for who they are because nobody's perfect, and we all share our stories. And what's really sad, though, is that a lot of the times bullies, we've heard of it, are bullied themselves. They could be bullied at home. They could have somebody else in their life, an older student bullying them, and in turn, they bully. So how do we stop this vicious cycle? And I think the thing that we do is we talk about it like we're doing right now, open conversations. Teachers are doing an amazing job with programs and talking to kids, but parents really need to, look, I'm guilty. I had no idea. I didn't talk to my kids about it because I assumed. So I think the parents should talk to their kids about it on a regular basis and look for the signs. Before we pass it off to the next person, look for the signs, because there are signs. Sleep patterns. If you've got a different sleep pattern, if your child all of a sudden becomes very angry, if they're being sick in the morning and they don't want to go to school, there might be a reason. So I'm really happy to be involved in this, and thank goodness for the kids' help phone, that they are there. It's private, and you are being bullied, you can give them a call and tell them your story.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. And it's so true. It reminds me of, and this is a really strange reference, but bear with me here.
Mhm.
If anyone watched the show or still watches the show Arthur, which was big in the 90s, it was an after school show, and I'm pretty sure you can still stream it to this day, but the main character Arthur was getting bullied at school by Francine. He had glasses on, and Francine goes, she calls him Four Eyes, and he goes, this is his response: I'm so sorry that you're dealing with some inner anguish. I really hope that gets resolved soon, and I hope you feel better soon. And I just thought that was such a powerful scene for a show for children, to just remember that it's not you. You're not the problem. And these people are potentially really hurt inside, and it's a them problem. So those people, the bullies, also have a resource like Kids Help Phone that they can reach out to. Thank you so much for being here, Jennifer. We appreciate it a lot.
Thanks.
Now, again, if you have any questions, feel free to write in. We do have a chat line on the side where you can contribute, and we'll have the question and answer near the end. Okay, next up, we have the wonderful Karima. Please let everyone know a little bit more about yourself and your experience and how important Pink Shirt Day is to you.
The significance of Pink Shirt Day for me, it is this idea of solidarity and people standing alongside someone, because the goal of bullying, at least in my experience, is to try and isolate the victim and make them feel like they don't have support, they're on their own, and that can lead to a sense of hopelessness or vulnerability. But when you have community that surrounds you and that tries to uplift, and it doesn't necessarily make it easier to hear, and especially with social media, because there's then a written record, and it's easy to say block the person or try not to look, but that doesn't mean it's not out there in existence. But if you can try to build up people around you who are supports, and that can be trusted adults in your life. It can also be your friends. And I've made friends actually from the experience of being bullied by the same people, and people who I may not otherwise have connected with. We've had sort of a mutual issue, and that's been something to work together on and try to deal with. A lot of what I go through in my current life is online in nature, and especially when people are using accounts that don't have their real name, for example, so you don't know who it is that is saying mean things about you. It can be really stressful. I agree with what was just said about the person who's actually doing the bullying. Their actions, it says more about them than the target themselves. And that's not really consolation if you are on the receiving end of it. But it does help, at least for me, put things in perspective and realize that, we have an internal voice, right? And sometimes the words that bullies will use, that's what we latch onto. And we can forget that there are people who care about us and who say good things about us. And for whatever reason, we're wired to focus on the negative. And, that's something that I work on, and it's not a straightforward process. Some days are easier than others. But the point, I think, of Pink Shirt Day, this is a reminder for all of us that, anyone can be a victim of bullying. Anyone can be a witness or someone who actually helps with a situation by standing up. And we can also be perpetrators of bullying, whether that's by being a quiet bystander or the person who is actually on the attack. So it's important to reflect on our role and how we interact with each other, and leading with empathy, right? Putting yourself in someone else's shoes, trying to be kind, which doesn't mean being a doormat, but I think that a little bit of kindness goes a long way.
Thank you so much, Karima. And her shirt is in fact pink, right?
It is. This is a lighting situation.
It's just a
this is pink. I'm doing my best to be a team player here.
Well, thank you so much. We really do appreciate you being here as well. And, bullying can happen in school. You can experience it there. But also, what a reminder having these adults here talking about their bullying experiences. It can still happen well into your adult life. It can happen in the workforce. It can happen in your friendship group. It can happen at home. There are a lot of different bullying situations for different people, and having a phone line and resources like this and people to talk to reach out to, these amazing people that are on the panel today that you can follow online and look up to. Thank you so much for being here. Next up, we have the one and only, my dear friend, James P. White from 95.7 Cruise FM, which is just one wall away from me at the radio station. And we know what it's like. We deal with people that text into our show all day. It's part of the job. And there can be hundreds of amazing texts that roll in all morning. that say how great we are, and you get one rude text, just like you said, Karima, that it depends on your mood that day. If you're feeling a little down or a bit more insecure than you were yesterday, that's all you think about. It's all you focus on. So, James, you have been dealing with bullies your whole life. Tell us a little bit about your experience and how important Pink Shirt Day is to you.
You know, Pink Shirt Day is very important. But the most important thing about Pink Shirt Day is Pink Shirt Day should not just be one day. The whole purpose of Pink Shirt Day is to unite everybody together against bullying. It's not a one day thing, it's an everyday thing. When I was in school, I was bullied every day, from name calling, pointing and staring. I was beat up. I was stuffed in lockers. I was put in a garbage can, rolled down a flight of stairs. Um, I got beat up to the point of being put in the hospital when I was a kid. And I used to go to my parents. Not everything that happened, but I used to go to my parents, and they would, not only encourage me to remember that I'm not the problem. It's not my fault. That's what we all have to remember when we're being bullied. It's not me, it's them. We are great the way we are. And if people have a problem with it, it's could be some of them. And I learned how to not let it bother me, and that helped me through a lot. But the biggest thing is one thing I very rarely did is I didn't ask for help. I'm a very independent guy. I think I said in my introduction, I think I'm 4 feet tall, and I've, you know, been short all my life. I've done everything on my own. Like if I can't figure out how to reach, the shelf in my locker, I used to stack my books and climb up to reach things in my locker. And the same happened when I was being bullied and picked on. Is I didn't talk to anyone other than my family. I didn't talk to my teachers as much. I I kept a lot of it in. But when I started to open up and talk to people, that's when things changed for me. Was when I started asking for help. And then people used to jump in. I remember one time this kid was picking on me. He called me a name. I think I called him a name back. He stood up, and all his buddies stood up. They were going to beat me up, and I'm not even joking. And they got all physical, but the whole football team stood up, said, "No, no, we're not having this." So I had a group of people, half of them I didn't even know, stand up with me to help me stand up for myself. And that's a huge thing, is we have to do that as people. If you see someone bullying someone else, or help them, even if they don't ask for help, help them.
Mhm.
And it means a lot. You may not at the time think how much it means, but it does mean a lot. And one more thing, if you are bullied by someone, and then if some people, if you do bully someone else, you can try to change your ways. Apologize. Say, "Hey, I'm sorry. I didn't give you a chance." I had someone do that. He was one of the guys that beat me up when I was that uh, led to me being taken to the hospital. He apologized, and we were friends for the rest of school. Like, I was friends with him until I moved out of Tabor, and I was in my mid-20s. And if someone does wrong, you can try to give them another chance. If you apologize, give them a chance. You never know where that friendship is going to go. And when I said that, you need to ask for help, I think this is actually a really good segue to let Ali Can again talk about what Kids Help Phone does and how they can help you and stuff like that. So, Alican, can you tell us, how people can get a hold of you, all that kind of stuff?
Absolutely. Thank you, Jimmy. And one thing I want to reiterate that you mentioned right at the beginning is that bullying is not your fault, and that's something that we stress. When we talk to youth who are going through bullying, so it's really important to remember that. And support is available. And so I think dealing with the stigma that comes with reaching out for support is really important to deal with, and doing this forum and this panel here is one way to do that. Another thing to keep in mind is that accessibility also plays a massive role. And so our services, as you'll see the phone number at the bottom here, is toll free. Our text number, which is 686868, is also free to reach out to. And so we often hear people who live in remote areas and rural communities don't have the same access to supports that we do in the city. And so all of our services are free to access. All of our services are confidential, and they are anonymous, and they're available 24/7. And like I had said at the beginning, no feeling is too big, and no feeling is too small. We're not just a crisis line. We're not there just when things have reached a crisis situation. We're there every step of the way. And wherever youth feel like they want to reach out is where we are, and we're there to support them in the way that they want to be supported. One other thing I wanted to make mention is that we do get calls from youth all the way from 4 to 5 years old, up to their 20s, and we support youth all the way up into their high 20s. And so I know it's a common misconception sometimes that we only support young children and young kids, but we do support young adults as well.
Oh.
Thank you so much. Honestly, thank you so much for taking the time. And thank you to everybody for joining and being a part of this conversation. It really is important. And James, you made such a great point that it's not just one day of the year. It's important to be kind every single day. The people that I remember the most from school were the kind people, the people that were talking to everybody down the hall, who were supportive in every way for everyone. Those are the people that down the road are the ones that stand out the most because they were kind. So be that person. Why not grow up in a world where everybody appreciates and respects one another? Now, if you want to get your questions in, thank you. We have one from Ryan and a couple more to get through. Please write on the chat room with your name and what question you would like to ask anyone on our panel. The first question that I'd like to ask is, can any of you give an example of harassment that you've dealt with, whether that be online or in real life, and things that you deal with today and how you managed it, how you still manage it to this day? Jennifer?
Well, being a content creator, I deal with it every single day because you open yourself up to the world. So I'm getting comments, thousands of comments a day on every social platform. And I read the majority of them. I spend a lot of time reading the comments. And I try to focus on the positive ones because there are definitely negative ones. People say horrible things. And when you do get comments like that, I look on their profile and I'm like, they're a mother, they have this great life. What makes somebody actually, type in these horrible words? And you're right, you have to just think what is going on in their life that they want to be so negative. I can't imagine doing that to somebody else, even if I felt that way. I just can't imagine putting that out into the world. So you really have to look at the positive things and be grateful for the positive comments and the good people in your life. And you can either respond, and sometimes I do respond, thinking I'm going to get a really nice answer, and they come back maybe just as nasty. But But sometimes you have to block people or ignore people or delete the comment, and that's just the way it goes. I honestly think that I've really developed a tough skin when it comes to online, and you have to remember that not everybody is like you. So yeah, I think this online world is very difficult for a lot of people, and hearing those words. But then again, you have to kind of, what are they going through? So years ago, I had been going through something, and a lot of people were weighing in online, and somebody left the nastiest comment. And I commented back, and sometimes I do, not with a nasty comment, but basically, how could you say that? And they apologized to me. He said, I'm really sorry. He said, I'm really going through a tough time right now. My wife has terminal cancer, and I took it out on you. I don't think I've ever had somebody actually tell me why they took something out on me, but it just made me think. And now I think about it all the time. Not saying that it's acceptable for people to bully and harass and leave mean comments, but I think even at this age, you can actually look at life in a different way and think, wow, for somebody to leave that kind of comment, you I want to say feel sorry for them, but you gotta think, what are they going through that they had to do something so nasty to another human being? And it all comes down to, again, teaching our kids, leading by example. I hope I am leaving a good example for my kids. I hope I'm giving them a good example, and and they turn out to be half decent, they turn out to be all right. It's really hard to tell someone who is being bullied all these things because they are going through so much pain. And that's why kids help them, really helps out kids when they don't have anybody else to turn to, when they don't want to go to a parent, when they don't want to go to a teacher. But this world is, it's changing. I didn't have the online when we were kids. But now the positive thing about online is, look what we're doing right now. We are having a conversation that anybody can watch in the whole entire world. We can raise awareness about things. People are calling out their bullies online. People are opening up online and changing the world. And this is what we have to do. We have to support each other. But, we're talking about not forgetting the people who stuck up, like the football team, right? We never forget who our bullies were, and we never forget who stuck up for us. So that's what I'd like to teach my kids. I think I've told them, if you see somebody who's being hurt or being bullied, help them out, be that person that helps them. And I think both my kids are like that. And that's what we have to do. And don't assume that your kid is going to do something like that. It starts at home and with the teachers and at work. We talked about, bullies at work, and harassment at work. And they've done studies and they say up to 40%, almost 40% of workers have said that they have either been bullied at work or witnessed harassment. So what is that telling us? It is still going on in adulthood. And we have to just teach our kids that, again, not everyone's going to treat people the way you are. We need to teach them how to handle these situations, because they are going to have to deal with it. And how are they going to deal with it? I think we have a long way to go, but I think social media is really changing the world. We are bringing awareness, and the message is to be kind. We hear it all the time. Be kind. And forgiveness too. What a great thing to talk about. Forgiving your bully when they say sorry. Have I forgiven people who have bullied me all these years later from when I was in public school? I said you never forget, but absolutely. Yeah, I'm friends with some girls that bullied me in public school. Did they apologize? No. I've looked at their situation a little bit differently. When you're younger, sometimes you can't look at their situation. You're only thinking about the hurt that it's causing you. But now that I look back and I see what maybe they were going through in their home, with their home life, I forgive them. I completely forgive them, and we're really good friends. Today, we're good friends. So, I think that's just what we have to do. We have to look at every situation and talk it out like we're doing right now, and implement things in school. Yeah.
Thank you so much. That's awesome. Now, Karima, we have another question that came in. Do you deal with digital harassment the same way that you deal with it in person? Is it the same vibes? Can you differentiate the two?
That's a really good question. I think that every situation is a little bit different. So I don't necessarily use the same tools. Um, one point of distinction is whether the harassment is online or in person. If something is in person, you don't really have the option of blocking them, right? You may be able to turn around and walk away, but sometimes it's better to stand your ground. So again, there's no one size fits all approach. When I'm dealing with something in person, my top priority is always safety. So my own safety, and because I am a lawyer, I also have to think about, what are my overall overarching responsibilities. I don't want to be getting into a fight on the street, for example. So that's in my mind. But in person, it's also possible to de-escalate in a way where you are maybe asking questions, talking reasonably, instead of getting heated in response and being reactive to the energy that you're getting, countering it with, trying to stay more calm, even if you don't feel that way on the inside. Online harassment is a different ball game because there are so many variables at play. I generally, humor is a coping mechanism for me. So that's not to say making fun of someone back, but if I can turn a mean comment on its head with a joke, or even laughing at myself sometimes, that takes the momentum out of it, and is a way to react. There are also times that harassment is really serious, and I've taken people to court over things that they have said that are harmful and unlawful. And, that's a measure of last resort, but it's a tool that I have in my toolkit, and one that, can be used or relied upon. Apart from blocking people, or muting them, depending on the platform that you're using, it's very rare that I will engage with negative comments online, just because it's often a distraction. And I find that people will take time out of their day to sort of throw these nasty grenades at me. And it's meant to take me away from the work that I would otherwise be doing. So I try not to give the person that satisfaction if I can avoid it. I will talk over them, meaning, on my own page or platform, maybe not calling them out by name. Sometimes I will, but over and above, I think is a better way to deal with people who aren't acting in good faith. And what I mean by in good faith means, this isn't a criticism that is constructive or meant to have a conversation or a dialogue. It's just mean and malicious, and the only intent is to tear you down. It's easier said than done, but I try not to go down to their level and engage with that. If there's an idea that I have to respond to, I'll aim to do it on my own terms. And I think that doing it on your own terms and recognizing that there's no single right answer, and you have to do what works for you in the situation. Again, prioritizing safety, which includes your mental health.
Thank you so much.
Lisa, before you take the next question, I kind of
Sure.
want to jump on the previous question, which was
Sure.
dealing with, do I react to the same as bullying now as I did when I was younger? Because it's a whole lot different now. Because the thing is once you have confidence in yourself, once you know who you are and love who you are, there's a whole different way you can look at life. Because A very common statement that I see being a little person is if I'm walking out in public, I hear people go, "Hey, look at the midget." Now, for those of you who don't know about that word midget, it is a lot of little people look at it as a very derogatory term.
Mhm.
It's name calling. It's mean. Um, but a lot of people use the word and don't know it is. And but another way I look at name calling or even something like that is I react in a funny way. Like if someone says, "Hey, look at the midget," I'll go, "Where? Is he following me again?" Because the thing is the whole thing with name calling, with any of it, is giving power to the name, giving power to any of that. If someone says something to you that's mean, they want a reaction. If you don't react to it, if you laugh at it, if you any of that, they will lose interest because they are doing it to get a reaction. And if you don't give that power to them, you own it. So that's why, like, I actually quite regularly, I've had people get offended because I call myself a midget. Because I don't give that word power. It's not, um, it's not one of those things that I give other people. And I just wanted to hit that before you hit the next question, Lisa.
Awesome. Thank you so much, James. Okay, so we have one more question from the text line here. It's from Ryan, and any of you can answer this one. Who was or is your biggest ally? How did you know you could trust them, and how did they help you find a solution? So if any of you have a question, or sorry, an answer to that.
I guess I could really quick. And then if anyone else wants to mention it too, my biggest ally is someone that I could trust no matter what. My family. My family. And because they were always on my side, they saw and like and they made me realize that I was, a lot better than people made me think I was. They encouraged me when stuff got tough. And actually, when I was struggling, I got pushed. Like, I was never allowed to say, I can't do it. That wasn't a thing. And my family pushed me, my mom, my dad, my aunts, uncles, cousins, even like my sister, Heather, she's my best friend in the world. And they've always been with me. And how can you trust family? You just know you can because that's just how it is. That's who my biggest ally is them.
Perfect. Thank you. And just to wrap things up, I know a lot of students have their lunch break coming up here. We'll just get everyone on the panel in just one sentence. What is the one message you want people to take away from today? And also a quick plug of your social media, if you don't mind as well. We'll start with you, Jennifer.
I'm going to say be kind. We say it all the time. Everyone says it. You got to actually mean it. You got to, you've got to mean it. Like so many times, if I see something online, especially, and I look at somebody's profile and it says be kind on their profile, but they're not being kind online. If you say it, actually mean it. Let's just be kind and rely on each other.
Thank you. And where can people find you online, Jennifer?
Oh, they can find me at Jennifer Valentine on all social media platforms. It's a YNE. It's Dutch. The Y is really an IJ in Holland, but here in Canada, it's a Y. So Jennifer Valentine with a Y.
Thank you, sweet angel. And Karima, what is one thing you want people to take away from today, and how can we find you on social media?
I think a takeaway is that you have to stay focused on yourself and your goals. And remember that bullying is meant to distract you, to isolate you. And as hard as it may be, keeping that power in yourself is the way to go. And like I said, I do that through humor a lot of the time, but there are lots of different strategies that you can look at. If anyone wants to find me online, I'm mostly on Twitter at Karima Rules. That's CARYMARULES. It's my handle here as well. And I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, with my name, Karima Sad.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being here. And James, what is one thing you want people to take away today, and where can people find you online?
The one thing that I would say that people need to take, you're okay the way you are. It doesn't matter online, in person, whatever. You're great. If you want to make changes because of you, that's your thing. But don't change because of other people. That's the one thing I would say is be you. Don't let other people dictate who you want to be. And if you want to find me on social media, on Twitter and Instagram, I'm at JPWhite957.
Awesome. And last but definitely not least, Ali Khan, what is something you want people to take away today? And of course, where can people find you if you want to give any more information about social media instead of just the Kids Help phone number? Let us know.
Yeah, so I think the one thing that I want people to take away, and Help Phone wants people to take away, is similar to what Karima was saying. Each and every one of us has hope within us, and success looks different to each and every one of us, and that's okay. And services like Kids Help Phone are here to help unlock that hope. We're not here to be a savior of hope, but we're here to stand with youth and walk with them, and help them unlock that hope that already exists within them, and so that they can thrive in their world. And where we can be found, I think Kids Help Phone is available on every single social media platform, including ones I probably don't know of, TikTok and Snapchat. So Kids Help Phone, and our website is kidshelpphone.ca, and our phone number is at the bottom, and you can also text us at 686868. Thank you.
No, thank you. And I'm just the host, but it was a pleasure being a part of this panel. So thank you for having me. You can find me at the Lisa Evans if you ever have any questions or comments. I'd love to hear from you. Just a reminder, there's a link to buy the pink shirts to help support Kids Help Phone in the description of our live stream. Thank you to everyone for coming and watching the live stream today. Thank you to everybody
Lisa.
who asked questions. And Jimmy, take the floor.
Okay, sorry. I just wanted to make sure. I need to thank all our sponsors. We had so many sponsors. We had so many people help us get this online. First of all, I do need to thank Crier Media, which is the avenue that we're using that get this out to everybody right now. And I do need to thank Harvard Media. They're the great company that I work for, and they got behind it and help us get this to as many places as we possibly can. I really need to thank them. And Kids Help Phone. I didn't know much about Kids Help Phone when I was younger, and if I was able to go back now, and I would definitely ask for help, and Kids Help Phone would be the way to go. I need to thank all of the panelists, everybody that showed up. So, Karima, Jennifer, of course, you, Lisa, for helping me keep on track here, because I get a little emotional when it comes to this topic. And of course, Ali Khan, I need to thank you for helping us with the resource that we need to help get this out to more people. And if you do want the pink shirts that do raise funds for Kids Help Phone, you still can through the links. You can get those. The shirt kind of looks like this, and you can get those, and you still can donate to Kids Help Phone as well. And we couldn't have done this panel, this whole conversation with all of you who didn't show up, who showed up and or watch this and help us. get this message out to as many people possible. I need to thank all of you, and I
Be
think we're
kind.
good. Thank you so much, and thank you, everyone.
Yes, be kind. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.